Good morning. This is part 5 of how I obtained this court order that Watchtower must use fair procedures. And I am now in 2010. I decided to take Watchtower to court. Now the reason being that X and Y had caused me so many problems. I could have died in 2009. And despite the fact that I was still very ill, they continued with the accusations. They lied to the rest of the body of elders in order to persuade them to take sanctions against me in January 2010. Now, the problem is that these elders affect children. They have children under their authority. If a child is attacked by two elders who go to this child and say, you've done this, that and the other, and unless you're sorry, you're going to be disfellowshipped. The child has no defense. He will be totally isolated. He's going to lose all his friends. He's going to be shamed. There's going to be possible suicide. And it really is that bad. So I had to stop these men doing what they were doing. So I took them to court for defamation. Now, I named elders X and Y and person A. Then the defamation was the sanctions that they had taken against me told the congregation that I had done something very wrong when in fact I hadn't. Now, despite not being named, Watchtower got involved and sent over their barrister, that's Richard Daniel. Now, they have very strange tactics in the courts. First of all, deny everything. And secondly, take motions to get the case struck out before it even is heard. And that, believe me, is extremely effective. So they filed a motion to strike my case out, and they used all sorts of excuses. They didn't have a duty of care, that this was a matter of religious discipline, that the courts couldn't adjudicate on it. And so it came before the county registrar in 2011. Now, by this time, I had just discovered the Elders' Secret Manual. Now, there wasn't much in that manual to help me, apart from the fact that the appeal committee discusses in secret with the original committee the notes and S77 forms and so on and so forth. But I told the registrar this, and he said to the barrister, well, how are they to know what the rules are if they're held secret? So the barrister said, he said, we give them a book. And I believe he was referring to the organised book. He said, the rules are all in there. Well, of course, the rules aren't in there, but I didn't know that at the time. The barrister was beginning to hide things. So it went to a judge who said, look, in your case in defamation, you have not stated to whom the defamation was published. And he said, really, you're also talking about human rights, and that needs to go to the High Court, not the Circuit Court. So I said, okay. So I appealed in order to amend my civil bill, and it went before another judge, and Watchtower objected to my appeal. So this is another tactic they use. So this judge, as soon as the barrister said, this is a matter of religion, the judge assumed that I didn't know that you can't bring religious matters to court. I mean, but that's fairly obvious. But you see, the problem is that as a lay person, the judge thinks that you don't know the law. And most often he's right. And especially procedural law. So anyway, Watchtower has this plethora of lawyers, both in the London office and in New York. So they were all busy trying to find rules and acts of the Irish government in order to get my case struck out. So the judge said to me, look, he said, I have to, on procedural grounds, he said, I have to dismiss your appeal. So I said, what can I do? And he said, you can go to the master for an extension of time to appeal. Well, now, this was the beginning of my legal career, and I had no idea who the master was. So I had to go away and find out. And the master is a quasi-judge, very nice person, actually, very nice. And he deals with all the little itty bits that come before a trial, such as, do you need an extension of time to appeal? And he gave me the extension of time to appeal. Watchtower appealed the master's order. And so it went to the High Court, and there was such a mess with it all that the judge just threw it out, which was fair enough. So what did I do next? I'll tell you in the next video, if I can stop this.